What's going on, guys? Just got to the archery range. We're gonna do a little experiment, all right? And it all has to do with canting your bow. All right, guys, at the archery range, super excited to do this little experiment here. It has all to do with canting your bow, okay? So it's pretty common knowledge out there, but for those that aren't familiar with this, if you cant your bow, what I mean by canting your bow is leaning your bow left or right, okay? The logic is that if you cant your bow like to the left, all right? So meaning that your top cam is tilted to the left when you shoot, that your arrow is gonna go to the left, okay? And the same, the opposite goes for the right. If your bow is canted to the right, then your arrow is gonna go to the right. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna shoot at 50 yards. I think that's a pretty like moderate range, but it's also a range that's gonna show us any slight imperfections, okay? And my question is, how far left or right is the arrow going to drift? Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cant a full bubble to the left with my bow at 50 yards. Actually, let's do a half bubble first, and then I'll do a full bubble just to show the difference. And I think at the end of this, I think it's gonna give some great perspective on a few things. One, why it's so important to pay attention to your bubble level in the field, because when you're bow hunting, things happen, things escape your mind, things kind of get crazy, right? Like your mind, you kind of go blank sometimes, right? In the heat of the moment. But also why it's so important to make sure that your first, second, third access is all dialed before your hunt, okay? And how important your bubble level is. So let's get into it. 50 yards, half bubble, and then 50 yards, full bubble. I'm excited to see what happens here. All right, guys, 50 yards, canting my bow to the left, a half bubble. Let's see what happens. You like those sound effects? All right, half bubble, 50 yards. It's in the dot, I'll tell you that. So if it's left, it's not left much. Let's see. Yeah, maybe an inch. Check it out. That, a little bit to the left, about an inch, right? You guys agree? Okay. All right, that was a half bubble left. Let's do a full bubble and let's see what happens. All right, guys, here we go. 50 yards. I'm gonna camp my bow to the left, a full bubble. Now, theoretically, it should be more left than an inch. We just did a half bubble canting to the left, and the arrow was about an inch to the left. So this should be more. Let's see what happens. Oh, this is interesting. This is pretty left, guys. I might shoot this one again just to make sure that it wasn't, I didn't make an error on my shot, because I make mistakes. But check this out. Good elevation. Look at that. Look at how much left that is. That's like a hand width left, man. Did you guys see that better? Check it out, man. Wow. I think I'm gonna shoot that one again for you guys just to make sure, but I mean, elevation is solid on that, and it is about a hand width to the left of the bullseye, so pretty interesting. All right, here we go again, guys. We're gonna do it again at 50 yards, canting my bow to the left, a full bubble. Last shot, solid elevation, but it was about a hand width to the left. So let's see if it does the same thing or something similar. is still left. Not as much though. Okay, so that last one, it might have been me a little bit. This one's still left though. I think it might be just outside of the dot, which is close to where we were. Here we go. See that? Okay, still left. So I think this one right here, that hole right there was the one we did. So I think that might have been me. But the point is, this one felt really good, okay? And that one is still to the left. 1, 2, 2.5 inches or so, okay? So, I just want to point out, this is in a controlled environment, right? Like, I'm at the archery range, I can take all the time in the world to take my shot. In a hunting scenario, man, things are not like that, right? Like your brain turns to mush, you don't have all the time in the world. So I'm gonna do this one more time, okay? And we're gonna see what happens. All right, last go guys, 50 yards. Canting my bow to the left to full bubble. Last 2 shots were left. First one was more left than the last one, but the point is they were left. So let's see what happens here. Full bubble, canting my bow to the left. All right, this is consistent with our second shot. It looks like it's on the left edge of the bullseye. So just interesting, man. I think it's good to know this stuff, and I'm betting that this would even be more magnified with a broadhead on the front. Check it out. There it is. Look at that. To the left. 1, 2 inches. About that. 2 inches left or so. All right. That's that right there, man. All right, now guys, what I'm gonna do is, just for good measure, I'm just gonna take a normal shot at 50 yards, bubble in the center, until we can see what happens. This is just me showing you the actual real results of this, okay? This is one shot, bubble in the center, okay? Check it out. Look at that. Bingo. So the majority of the shots were right here, okay? We did have that outlier, right? Which probably was a little bit of me, okay? That was over here when we canted a full bubble, canting to the left. But 2 out of 3 of them were right here, okay? And this is just one shot aiming it with the bubble dead center at 50 yards. And look at that. I mean, it is in the set, like the very center of that bullseye. So pretty interesting results, man. All right guys, that's gonna do it for the video. Thank you so much for following along. I hope you found that as interesting as I did. I wanted to make this video just to simply show real results from a topic like canting your bow, right? Like, you always hear that you don't want to cant your bow, okay? But have you actually tested out what it does when you do it at different degrees? Okay, and I think by knowing that stuff, it's just that much more reason to make sure that stuff is dialed ahead of season, right? Like, make sure your first, second, third access is dialed so you're ready to go in the field. Because I tell you what, those results that we just had, you know, at 50 yards, half bubble, full bubble, they're only a matter of inches, right? But if you add in, for a bow hunting scenario, you add in nerves, angles, that could mean the difference. Also a broadhead tipped arrow, that I feel like that's gonna make the results even more magnified. But you add all that stuff in, this could literally mean the difference between airballing an animal and bringing them home with you, okay? So if you like the video, please hit thumbs up. If you like the channel, please hit subscribe. Comment down below. I want to hear your thoughts on canting your bow. Have you noticed any differences canting your bow? Do you have some horror story from the field of not having your bubble calibrated, not having your accesses set up before going afield and then missing an animal? I sure do. So comment down below. I want to hear your experiences, and I am going to see you in the next video. Thanks, guys.